Welcome back to The Truth with Trinity, and I am your host, Trinity. And if this is your first time tuning into the podcast, I wanted to send you a warm welcome. Here I talk about issues that happen within the black community, hopefully for some type of resolution or at least some food for thought to go about your daily way. So, without further ado, I'd like to jump right into this episode's topic, which is our lost civilization and where do we go from here. So, I wanted to start off with reading a definition, and then I'm going to jump into the history of us as a people in this country. Uh, the definition is civilization, which is the stage of human, social, and cultural development and organization that is considered most advanced. And when you look at the history of black people, we were a great civilization at one time. And as some of you well know, our ancestors went against God and God did put punishment on us. So a lot of times, when you hear Caucasians say that black people are cursed, well, that's halfway true. Not in the sense that they mean that we're cursed. So we're not cursed because we're black. We're cursed because of some things that our forefathers did, and they went against God and start worshiping other gods and idols, and here we are today. And I wanted to go back a little bit into the history of blacks. You know, there's so many different stories that are mixed up as to our origins on, where we actually come from. And I'm not talking about the Jamaicans or the Africans that come over in the last 100 years. They know, they migrate from, Africa, Jamaica, the Haitians, so they know their heritage. What I'm talking about is the American black man and woman who, for the most part, they can't go back more than 4 or 5 generations because, due to slavery and, not being able to keep certain artifacts, history, documents, quilts, different things that, other races and ethnicities of people are able to pass down to their children's children. I know I can speak for myself. I can only go back maybe 3 generations to my great great grandmother. Don't know, the name of my, great 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 grandfather. And I'm sure some, of you can relate to that. And I bring that up because when we came from slavery, a lot of us, we didn't know what our culture was, but we knew we wanted to be successful. So when we first got off the slave boats, our desire was to get back home because those, slaves, they knew where they came from because they were, some of the first slaves. And, throughout time, they start thinking and talking in English. So they went from not understanding English to thinking and talking in English. And along with that went the customs and, you see, in the land that you are in, which, was America, you see the success, of, Caucasians back then. And you wanted that type of lifestyle. So wanting to go back home was erased through the generations of being in America. And so when we came from slavery, we didn't want to go back home necessarily because it had been so many generations, since we had, came over here. We wanted success. And what did success look like for us is what we saw, on the plantation looking at slave masters, nice homes, nice cars. You saw, white women with the pretty dresses and parasols. So, black women, we wanted, to what we saw as successful. Okay, so then, we talked about Black Wall Street a little bit. And so we were going towards success. On the early 1900s, we were very successful. You had scientists, you had the doctors, you had lawyers, really focused on our education and so much to the point where they had to segregate. Well, it was already segregated, but they had to put like roadblocks because we were succeeding at such a high rate. Okay, and so that was our culture was, you know, becoming the best that we could be. So we didn't have our African culture or Hebrew culture or wherever it is, because there's so many stories as to where we're actually from. We know we wanted to be successful. And what's happened is now, in 2021, it seems like our culture is made up of hip hop, rap, and that's it. And hip hop and rap is an expression. When hip hop first started off, it started off as like a story inside of a song that could describe what someone was going through, their feelings and, their emotions in life. And now it's been tampered with, and now it's been poisoned, and it's like the hip hop and rap culture is like our culture, our civilization, like how we think about ourselves and how we live throughout life. And that's where the problem is. And don't get me wrong, many people are influenced. Like, you see something on TV, a new style of dress, you want to go, you might think that's cute, and you go out and get the pants that's in style, like skinny jeans. Then at first it was wide legged jeans, bell bottoms. Now it's skinny jeans. Now, you want to go out and get, what's in style. So there's nothing wrong with that. And, the media influences a lot of different ethnicities. But with black people, it seems like we embody that. So it's one thing to listen to music, you dance, you're at a picnic, you're at a club, you're at a party, you're jumping up and down, you're having a good time, right? But there's a difference in turning off that radio, turning off that TV and say, hey, that was a great video. That was a great song. But it seems like we act and portray what we see and hear in the songs more than any other race of people. And I believe that's truly because we have a void. As Black Americans, we have a void that, since we don't have a base or a foundation for a culture which usually roots and stems from our ancestors, so we fill that void with what we see on television and what we hear in the music. It's kind of like a spell, some type of trance that a lot, especially the younger youth and even, a lot of black people are under, because when you look at who controls the media and who controls what's put on there and what's not put on there, what's accepted on TV, what's not accepted on TV, their views about black people are very negative. So that's the danger in looking at television and saying, hey, I see this image of a black woman or man on TV, I'm going to be like that. I hear this in the radio, I'm going to start acting like that. What I'm listening to, because the images and the songs that are portrayed are not beneficial to black people and the civilization of black people. So there's a lot of negative viewpoints, and I wanted to jump into some of them and, what they're portraying on TV versus the reality of our true identity. I wanted to start off with black men. You always see a black man, as a player on television. You hardly see him in a sturdy, solid role as a father that has sense. Not a father that's soft and, playing around on TV, the clown, Sambo, Mantan type of identity, when the true identity of a black man is that he is head, okay, over his household, okay, he's very intelligent, okay. Another thing is they're okay with portraying black men as athletes, like, they let them be stars of, the NBA, the football. You're like, they gave us a little kibble, and we're supposed to run with that. Like, you see, basically, black men, dominating the sports. And that kind of ties back into slavery, because that's what they said about us in slavery, that, our brains weren't very developed and intelligent, but, we excelled at sports. because they tried to say we were like half animal or something like that. So, it's great that our brothers are on television and they're making a great living for themselves. But the image, the subliminal messages from old time slavery are still there, as to say that that's all they can do is be good athletes when there's plenty of good lawyers, okay, and doctors and scientists, and we need more of them. Another thing is, you always see, a black man playing a role like he's a criminal, he's in some type of legal trouble, he's the bad boy, he's, all of this and that. And it's like, no, don't pay attention to what you see on television. Like, that is not, and I'm especially speaking to the young black men out there, that is not all there is for you to life. Is when you see on TV, you see thug life, you see criminals, and this is supposed to be your role in life. Feminine. They feminize the black man. You always see the black man on TV, in a dress, something feminine, playing some type of role that's, unattractive to heterosexual black women, as if to say that the only way a black man can get on TV is if he puts on a dress. This is the image that they want to send out there to black men, that it's okay for you to give up your God-given masculinity to be feminine, okay, and that's not going to destroy our race of people, because if the black man is feminine and it's not going to be attractive to black women, there's going to be less black children, and that's pretty much the goal, and to break down the black man, his psyche. And so we're going to jump over to black women. You always see black women in the roles of sex object. Like they, most of the time when they get on stage, they have to put on some type of teddy or some type of, very figure revealing, almost skin naked type of outfits. And like this, like I said, the people that, give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to what is, put on television, they're letting you know that this is how they see black women, as sex objects. Like, you can't be the princess, you can't, be the educated woman, you have to be the sex object. Like back in slavery, you have to, produce sexually. Like, that's your role. Like the white woman, she's going to be on the porch, with her parasol, and she's going to be, seen as this, and your role as a black woman is just to be a sex object. Single mother, a lot of sitcoms and a lot of television shows, even, they'll show a attractive black woman, but she's single. And even if she's in a sitcom with other ethnicities of people, she happens to be the one that's always single, promoting that strong black woman image, which is very, what's the word? It's very, it's just very negative. It's like a slap in the face, because, we're women too. The black woman is a woman, and she's not strong. That's, it's the term is abused, towards black women, because we're not as strong as other women. We're strong. We've dealt with a lot, but we are women just like any other woman. We want to be treated softly. We want to be adored. We would like husbands as well, just as well as any other race of woman. You always see the black woman portrayed as materialistic, and that goes into that whole personification, that bad chick, boss chick, all these terms that are supposed to be popular, but they're very negative when you really look directly into what they really mean. All you care about in life is, they're trying to portray us as all we care about in life is, just bling bling, how to get money out of a man, and how to get, a new pair of shoes. And, the black woman has so much more depth than that. And I want you to know that as a black woman, that your sole purpose in life is not just to accumulate trinkets and bracelets and, a good wig, even though, who doesn't like a good wig? But if you get what I'm saying, though, we're not shallow women, and that's all we care about. They try to portray us as masculine, and I want to do another podcast on that about especially the dark skinned woman. But we're gonna just make a general category right now. The black woman, a lot of times, the only time she's accepted a role, getting a role, is if she's masculine. She's on stage acting like a clown. She can't sit with poise and etiquette and class. She has to be seen as loud, boisterous, always, once again, that Mantan Sambo, clown type of Sandman type of situation, and that's what they're feeding us and our young children, that this is who black women are, where we're not. Okay, you're the queen of mother civilization. You are the definition, the true definition of class. As a matter of fact, it's where Caucasians get their class from when you start talking about the Moors and the great civilization that once was, before white people had evolved into what they are, well before what they evolved into what they are now. And that's why it's very important for us to study our history and not just get your history from a European teacher. A European teacher is not going to teach you about your true identity. They're not, because they don't want you to know it, because that would hurt, their racist people. If more black people woke up and knew the true identity of who they were, instead of looking at that tube called a television, instead of being entranced under a spell and incantations of the spells that they're putting through the music, that this is who you are. You're some type of video vixen. You're some type of sex object. You're some type of criminal thug life. All these images are dressed up basically in the basic form of a slave master plantation thinking that this is all you are. You're a criminal. You're a thug. You're a sex object, when we're none of that. And they a lot of times say, oh, well, a lot of the black people, they aren't intelligent. They know that's a lie. Okay? Because we're extremely intelligent. But when you remove the civilization away from a person, and a person loses their civilization, I don't care what race they are, they're going to be uncouth, they're going to be barbaric, they're going to be all these things. When you remove the proper knowledge of who that person is. So there's nothing wrong with black people other than the fact that they have lost their true identity. It's been dissociated, with who they are, like a split personality. Okay? And the masculine thing, jumping back into black women, loud. It's an image. And we've bought a lot of those images. And that's the problem. I'm going to jump into that in a second. That we're loud. And so then you have, a lot of black women feel like it's okay to be loud. And it's okay to be, obnoxious, when the black woman has the potential to be very classy. All we need is the proper education as to who we are, and to be willing to openly accept new viewpoints. That, hey, maybe the way that my grandmother or great grandmother knew the way to think, maybe that's not the way. And refuse to accept what we see on TV and the radio and a lot of the music, even if our people make the music. Okay, even if it's a black person that makes music telling you to jump up and down and bark like a dog and squat like a chicken and do the funky cold Medina, even if it's one of them and they're promoting that and being controlled by the higher ups to promote music that's going to hurt our people, it's time for us to have enough common sense to say, hey, that was a great song. It was a great performance, but that's not how I'm going to carry on about my daily life. What I see on TV is not going to help me be successful in reality. So it's time for us to look at that as a great entertainment, a great performance, but I'm not going to go around acting like a robot, some type of zombie, and I'm going to act like what I see on TV, and that's just going to be my whole existence in life. I'm going to walk, talk, and act like what I see on TV, and that's what's killing us as a people. So that pretty much wraps up this segment. I'm trying to think if there's something else I wanted to put in there. I don't think so for this segment. If there's something else, I'll make a part two. It's been a pleasure talking with you all. If you would like to get in contact with me, you can on my new website, which is thetruthwithtrinity.com. If you'd like to send a donation to help the Truth with Trinity keep rolling, if you have a suggestion or some type of comment or some type of question that you would like to be brought up on the podcast, you can definitely contact me there. You can also listen to the podcast on Anchor, Spotify, and also, of course, YouTube. And always remember, if you can't tell the truth with anyone else, you can with Trinity. Till next time, take care.